An attorney for Ghislaine Maxwell says she would only speak with the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee if granted immunity. Well, the panel swiftly rejected that request. Last week, the panel subpoenaed Maxwell, an associate of Jeffrey Epstein, compelling her testimony amid demands on the Trump administration to release files from the financier who killed himself while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. The attorney says Maxwell is actively pursuing post-conviction relief both in a pending petition before the United States Supreme Court and in a forthcoming habeas petition. The attorney adds any testimony she provides now could compromise her constitutional rights, prejudice her legal claims, and potentially taint a future jury pool.
Whew, this is a lot to unpack. Here we go. Chief Legal Analyst Ghislaine Maxwell back with us now. So let's take a look at this. She's asking for advance access to these questions. She wants a safe public forum. How unusual are these requests given the circumstances surrounding her?
Very usual. Her attorney hit it on the head. Julian just restated what the attorney said, which is my client has a pending case before the U.S. Supreme Court, has an additional habeas case. Anything that my client states in this hearing in front of you all will be out in the public forum and can be used against her. I mean, this is basic elementary school request in terms of what he's asking, and the response from the congressional members to say this is a non-starter, that we won't even consider it, lets me know that they've never been in these kind of conversations. If you want someone to speak, no one's going to step forward and say, you know what, let me add more time to my 20-year sentence and figure out how I can sabotage my own case and come and speak to you freely without any conditions. These three conditions are basic. Give me the questions up front so I don't walk into a landmine and know exactly what I'm going to be responding to. And it gives me time to research and prepare an answer that will adequately address what you're asking me. The other one, make sure that I'm protected, that I don't hurt my case. And the alternative, as I said, or you can give me clemency. There's three options. I don't have to wait. I don't have to come. I can just sit in my jail cell and wait for my hearing to proceed. You guys are asking me to come. And typically, if you're asking me to appear, you're going to give me some consideration for my time. You're not compensating her with money. You're compensating her with time, potentially off her sentence, by the way of saying we'll remove some of these charges.
Well, Khalif, that kind of leads me to my question. How much of this then is just political theater? Because you know that she can't give anything, she's not going to give her immunity. They don't even have the full authority to give immunity. They have to request for that immunity to happen. So how much is this saying, look, we're doing something about it, knowing dang well this is much to do about nothing?
They'd have to request for authority to get immunity from the very folks that aren't releasing the files that people are trying to ask anyway. So in this chess game that is 100% political gerrymandering, grandstanding, and any other word you can think of, this is problematic because at the same time, when they motioned to subpoena for her to come and testify, well, what did the Republicans do? Well, let me get President Clinton, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, James Comey, former director of the FBI, Attorney General Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Merrick Garland, Robert Mueller. Those are folks that Republicans, in response to this one person, them asking her to come and testify, they were like, okay, we want all these other people. They have absolutely nothing to do with this case, but they're saying, okay, you want them to talk, we want these other folks to talk. This entire process is political theater, but it is attempting to get the administration to do what they said they were going to do, release these tapes, release any files, release any evidence that you have that talks about what Epstein did, and that's the part that's getting lost in this whole political theater.
We know that she claims that she could basically name 100 different people in connection to Epstein. Could there be subpoenas that force her to provide that evidence, or is she protected because of this case she's got going on?
I mean, they can subpoena her all day, and she can get up there and say, I plead the fifth, and it would be an absolute waste of time. And so you got to figure out what your end game is. If your end game is to get information, if you want to know what this one person that's connected to him that probably knows more than anyone else that's alive, if you want to be able to get the information from this person, you're going to have to figure out what leverage do we have and what leverage does she have. Right now, she holds the keys. She can sit on her hands and say, thank you very much, but I plead the fifth. Why? Because I have a pending case before the Supreme Court. It would be a very dull, boring hearing, and we would learn nothing. Or you could give her these concessions, which are probably relatively small, and say, all right, we already know you're convicted. We already know that we're going to say whatever you say can't be used against you for further prosecutions. That was her attorney's first request. Nothing that I say can be used for further criminal prosecutions. And additionally, I'm asking you to let me know the questions. I don't think those are large hurdles to jump over, but the people that are rejecting, are not the folks that are asking her to come and testify. Remember, all the Democrats were the one that were asking her to testify. They're going to need bipartisan support to get these concessions to be made, and that's going to be the problem.
So, Khalif, what happens? Do you think the next answers we potentially get when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein comes in that Supreme Court case? Because this may not give us anything.
Probably not even in that situation.
Really?
I mean, because most of the things that she'll talk about will be concerning her, and her defense will be the same, that I didn't know what I was doing, that I had nothing to do with the manipulation or the use of children involved with getting to his island. I wasn't some type of, broker to bring folks there. Her defenses would not have changed from her underlying case. When you appeal something, you're not bringing much new evidence. What you're saying is that my trial was wrought with some type of issue, and because there was issues in the lower court, this court should now grant me post relief and allow me some new type of trial. I don't think new information would come out in that aspect. The only place that we'd have new information is if she decided to write a book or if she decides to testify in Congress. And in testify in Congress, that's probably the better way where we get to hear it sooner than later.
This is like a Netflix series, and this is real
it
life.
will be.
I was going to say,
if it's not already in the works, I'm sure
trying
it
to
will
figure
be.
out who's going to play me, though. I was
No one can play you better than you, Khalif. All right, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.